welcome to another episode of ASMR Reality. I read an article today. Let me look, I'll show you a picture of the article. You can look it up. I'm not going to read it to you, but it says America's new millionaire class, plumbers and HVAC entrepreneurs. Private equity is pouring money into skilled trade small businesses. Next thing you know, you're running an empire. I have briefly talked about this in some of my past videos, talking about how to succeed in life. And the sad part of this reality is the lack of glamour, the lack of prestige, possibly. Certainly not. It's likely I don't have Instagram, but I can imagine that plumbers aren't listed as the hottest available bachelors or the hottest career you would want in looking for a man or HVAC. For those of you that don't know, HVAC stands for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Basically, your furnace and air conditioner, people who install those, people who work on them, make sure they work, install new thermostats, perform maintenance, that type of stuff. And it's probably because I am a little biased because I made my living with a non-glamorous job. I started in fast food. Well, I started as a young man prior to being able to actually have a real job with shoveling snow and mowing yards. Went to fast food was my first real job. Then I got a job at a carpet cleaning / janitorial company. And this was my lucky break because the owner of the company, I was 16 at the time, he was 28, he was married, he had a kid, but he was only 28 and he owned this relatively successful carpet cleaning janitorial company. Later, while I worked for him, he branched out into janitorial products and was selling like chemicals, cleaning chemicals, and like mop buckets, mop heads, mop handles, push brooms, cleaning machinery, dryers, like floor dryers, carpet dryers. But he was successful, and I was close to him, and so he became like an immediate role model at a young age. This was after my parents got divorced, and so I was pretty much, my mom and dad were forming their new lives, and they had kids younger than me, and were juggling the madness of reestablishing themselves as single individuals rather than the family unit that we once were. And I got lucky. I landed, I latched on to a good role model. And he let me work, and he let me work a lot. He broke child labor laws for me. And from 16 to 21, I worked for him. And yeah, but my point is sales, then to managing a finance department, then to managing the sales department, then to being the general manager of the store. And at the age of 48, after 20 years at the last dealership I worked at, I did 20 years at the last dealership I was at. After 20 years, I retired at 48. I didn't work for 7 months, and then I got bored. I went from working 80 hours a week to 0, and I hated both. So I found something else to do, and I started selling real estate. And it's been amazingly successful for me. But this is my 6th year in real estate, and I'm now trying to wind down this business because I want to slow down again. I want to have more time. But my point in kind of telling you my whole life work history was for those of you that don't know, to understand that that's how I made my business. Now, being the general manager of a Toyota store is somewhat relatively prestigious. So in the last part of my career, that was relatively prestigious, other than the fact that the car business itself has a very bad reputation, rightfully so, because the bulk of dealerships are shady, and they do shady things. But the message that is out there is that you can get rich quick. All of these gurus out there selling courses, telling you, here's what you need to do, here's how you can get rich. I would just like to say something, and I wrote down a few names just because these people came to mind. Ty Lopez, Logan Paul, Eman Godsey, Andrew Tate, Meet Kevin, Grant Cardone, Graham Stephan, even Alex Hormozy with his school pyramid scheme he's running now. I want you to know something. I want you to think about something, okay? Yes, if you watch my videos and my channel grows, I can make money from you watching my video. One single person, if you watched one video of mine every single day, an entire year, one person, that would probably pay me it wouldn't even pay me $5. I make like $4.80 per 1,000 views. So one person one person added 10,000, 20,000 times. It adds up. But the point is, one person is not paying me anything. One person couldn't even pay my cell phone bill every month. One person couldn't. I mean, it isn't even. Pennies. It's pennies. One person doesn't do it. The point is that these people claim to be filthy rich, right? This is the only reason we would want to listen to them. They're rich. And so they are going to tell us how to get rich, right? You would think that, of course, I want to listen to them, but what I want you to think about, if you're filthy rich, why would you charge somebody to just say words? I would understand, like, if, say for example, you're Tom Cruise and you've got a Ferrari. Well, maybe that Ferrari is worth more because it has Tom Cruise's name on it. Of course, you're not just gonna go give that away. Maybe you can make more money on it because it has your name, because it's an item that you own. Of course, you would sell it. I'm not saying that rich people should give everything away. these guys have to sell the courses to stay rich. I mean, they would, I'm sure if all of them quit today, all the guys I mentioned, they could still be rich. But my point is they get richer by telling you how to get rich. And the numbers don't lie. If they sell 100,000 courses, 12 people might get rich. Like, maybe not even rich as them, but, you know, okay. And my thinking is that those 12 people would have found a way to become rich without the course. They would have made it. And I just find it, I think this is part of the problem with greed in our society. Because, I mean, I wouldn't even think of selling information. Everything I say is to try to help you get through life better. I don't sell any courses. I don't tell you that it's going to be easy. I tell you the truth. Drop shipping, come on. Yeah, maybe when it first came out, maybe people were making money at it, but it's just, it's sad. And then marketing agencies, I don't know. I know that these things can work, so there is a possibility, but the truth is, for the rest of us, for those people that really, that we have to survive through life, it is truly, I think, the best thing you can do is find a skill. Find a skill. Get really good at it and do it a lot. And then either A, move up in that company, or learn it good enough that you can do it on your own. And I've got an electrician friend of mine. He works for a commercial electrician company. They when commercial buildings get built, like factories or large facilities, skyscrapers, things like that, they wire the new construction. That's his primary job. But he does any electrical work that I need done at my house. I call him here to do it because he does it on the side as well. So he runs a little side business doing electrical work on the side to make additional money. And I believe he's probably 28, 29. I believe that probably within 10 years he will be brave enough and financially sound enough that he will likely open his own company and just do it legitimately. And, you know, get a company name and a company van and hire another electrician to go other places while he's somewhere else, and then get another van, and then get another electrician, and then get another van, and then get another electrician, and that's how it works. Because business, we tend to think that, well, this company now has control of the market. Well, nothing stays forever. Nothing. Look at MySpace. Look at Blockbuster Video. I mean, you can see a day where maybe Facebook will be gone. Something else might take its place, you know. It certainly has a lot of other competition. And then even like smaller companies, like the guy that did what I'm talking about 50 years ago is now done, and nobody maybe within the company to sell it to, or no kid that wants to take it over. So businesses like that typically just shrink until they go away. As the owner, as the star of the show gets older. They did, like my real estate business. Like when I first started, I was advertising. I was doing all sorts of like email campaigns and trying to generate hit 100 for the first time, maybe when I was 29 or 30. And then 110, 120, 130, 140, 150. Then I'm probably 180. I capped out at 180 for a little bit. And then I hit 200, and then I hit 220. And probably when I left the dealership, my best year was probably 260, 270 was the most I ever made it at the dealership. And then I quit and made nothing. And then my first year in real estate, I made $180,000. And then my second year, I made $550,000. And then 520, and then like 510, and then like last year I made like 525. This year, well, no, that's this year. This year I did not hit 5 because I started winding my business down. But 440, 450, 445, something like that is where I'm at year to date. And that was just like unexpected. So it came out of nowhere. So that's what I'm telling you, is that today you may feel like it's never going to happen for me. It feels like you're never going to get there. But over time, you can get there. So it just requires commitment and discipline. And really, you just have to pick something. The other interesting part of my story is that, so the year I left the dealership, it was March of 2019. That was my last month at the dealership. I started real estate in October of 2019. But in 2001, 18 years earlier, I got my real estate license. I was already in the car business. I was a sales manager at the time, not a general manager. And I could see the writing on the wall. I could see that the business was getting harder and humanity was getting harder. And I wanted to managing people was difficult. Hiring people, firing people, dealing with, I had 91 employees when I left that place. It was just a lot. It was the hardest part of the job. And I thought, like, I was envious of my salespeople because they had no responsibility. They just came in, sold product, and went home, didn't worry about anything. Where I had to worry about, the building, the roof leaking, or a garage door doesn't work, or there was 40 garage doors at our dealership, and there was always one broke. But that type of madness, or somebody quit, or, somebody gets a DUI, it just, the brain damage of being the boss was not what I wanted. I was good at it, but I didn't like it. And so, but when I got my real estate license, I tried to quit. I went to the owner of the dealership and I said, "Look, boss, it's time. I've served you well, but I gotta go." And he said, I don't want to lose you. What would it take?" And I said a number. And he said, "Go back to work." And I said, "Yes, sir." And 18 years later, I did it again, but this time I told him, "There's no amount of money that will keep me here. You could give me the dealership and I'm still leaving. I want a life." And I knew that if I kept doing that job, I would die. I would die there. I mean, not like within the next year or so, but I knew if I didn't leave, I would just end up dying. I had seen over the course of my career in the car business, I have seen many, many old men die at the dealership, never knowing a day of retirement, never knowing a day of freedom. Because not only do you have to work hard, you also have to be smart with your money. You can't be dumb with money. There are two ways to retire in this life. You can get a job that offers a pension and says, if you work 30 years here, we'll pay you $5,000 a month for the rest of your life, or $20,000 a month for the rest of your life, or whatever it is. option one. But there's not very many of those jobs left, primarily just the government, military, cops, firefighters. Some high-end, like most pharmaceutical companies do offer pensions. High-end jobs, executive level jobs offer pensions still, but just very few places. Union jobs still offer pensions. But most jobs don't. The second option is piling up money and then living off of it. It's the only other option. Option C is let the government take care of you. Live off Social Security. I know that's money you've paid in already. But it's poverty. You can't. You can survive on it. You will never live a good life. You will struggle on that income if you end up in that spot. My mom makes $1,600 a month on Social Security. Now her house is paid for, so $1,600. She has to buy groceries, gasoline, pay her electricity, pay her cell phone bill, pay her car insurance, pay her house insurance, that type of stuff. But it's doable. But that's only because her house is paid for. My dad worked for General Motors. He gets a check for $4,500 a month, every month, the rest of his life. And he spends every dime of it because on the first of the month he's getting another check. And he lives a better life. He does take vacations. He's got a camper. He goes camping and stuff like that. My mom does not. So those are your options. But I think life can still be good. You can still make a good living, and you can still be a good person. And like for me, that's why I'm like, financially, I know I've done better than most people. And that's why I do this. I'm not doing this to get rich. I already am rich. I don't need your money. I don't want your money. What I want to do is help you. And I don't want you to give the money to the gurus. We've got to stop. People should not be able to get filthy rich, ripping people off. And people should not be able to get filthy rich by being immoral. If you have knowledge that you think will help your fellow man, you should give it away. Knowledge should not be sold. Not when you're already rich. Now, let's say you invent something. Yeah, you deserve the money off of it. But when it comes to just helping people, this information that you're giving people is, I just want to help you. I'm going to tell you everything I learned. Right? But you're going to sell it to me. It's just, I don't know. To me, it's the sign of a bad person. You can judge the character of a man by how he treats those that can do nothing for him. And that to me shows me that these people like Grant Cardone, you've got hundreds of millions of dollars and you want my $49 a month. The same with you, Andrew Tate. You have your Bugatti, but you want my $49 a month just to try to help me. No thanks. Nope. You're telling me who you are by doing such a thing. And I think it's time that we stand up. I really do. I think we have to help each other not do these things. Because it's just, all we're doing is making bad people richer. And if this is, I think there's kind of a movement in the air, like the whole Luigi thing. I mean, I know, like, first of all, I do not condone what he did. That is not the answer to our problems. Going out and doing things like that is not the answer. But you can see why people see the government has been corrupt. You know, we've been lied to so much. And I think there's a movement to try to right some wrongs, to try to fix the problems we have. And I think that this is one of them. We've got to stop believing in these gurus. We've got to stop. Good people just need to step up and tell people the truth. This is how you got to get through life. I don't know, guys. I hope I'm not insulting any of you if you guys are fans of these people. But again, I just think if there is something, if they were selling items or, books that are physical, tangible, you've got to read one. Obviously, there's a cost to that. They've got to sit down and, okay, sell me a book for $10 or $15. That's great. I'd love to read about your life story, or if I don't have time to watch the video, right? But to sign up for these courses that really the proof is in their results. It's yes, they have that. Well, look, this guy made $9,000 this month. Watch that guy in a year. Where are they now? Right? Promise you, they didn't make a living doing it. Maybe they had a good month. Maybe they did something, but it is extremely rare. It is like lottery odds. And again, that's why I say when they tout these few successes they have, it reminds me of the lottery. It's because those people likely would have been successful anyway. The trophy, the carrots they dangle, those guys would have found a way without the information Ty Lopez gave or Grant Cardone gave. Again, not saying there's nothing relevant they have to offer. They do. These are smart people. They're rich people. But don't get richer. Don't get richer by being greedy. If we would just be better to our fellow man, instead of just looking at them as a way to get rich. And that's what happens. If they're asking you for the $49, that's what you are to them. They want that $49. They don't want you. They don't want to help you. They want your $49. That's the motive. You gotta look. I mean, why? I don't get it. But I just hope that everybody out there is starting to see that the cracks in our system. This is a glaring one. And I just think that I think it's kind of like the news too. It's like cable news and broadcast news. Their numbers are imploding. People are getting news from podcasts and X, and there's a changing of the guard in the news industry. Like, I like listening to Megyn Kelly for news. I like Dave Rubin, the Dave Rubin Report. Joe Rogan, I like watching his show. Chris Williamson, I like him. Diary of a CEO, I like that podcast. I just like to see people being interviewed, but like daily news, like you can just look online and get the headlines and pick and choose instead of having these, if you turn to a channel, you've got somebody telling you what to believe. If you just look at the articles, you can read the headlines and know what's going on in the world without listening to these coming out over the years, and people like these gurus being less and less able to take advantage of people and to rob people of their money. You know, you think about the whole idea of somebody like searching out what's a way I can get myself in a better financial situation, because that's what they're trying to do. That's who's reaching out. That's who their customers are, people that are trying to make more money. And here's how you make more money. Give me some of it. Right? It's so counterintuitive to what's going to help people. So, now, I would like to clarify again, not saying none of these people have relevant information. I'm only saying about them taking advantage financially of the information they have. Tony Robbins was influential in my life in that I read his book called Awaken the Giant Within. I paid for the book and I read it, but I didn't buy a course. I didn't sign up for a monthly fee. Jordan Peterson was influential in my life in making me a better human being and helping me with the courage to leave that job after 20 years, to truly retire. He was influential because I read his book, 12 Rules for Life. It helped me. It helped me a lot. But again, he didn't ask me to buy his course. Now, I know he does have a course, like a college course that he sells. It's called, I can't think of the name of it. It's on the tip of my tongue. If I think about it before the video's over, I'll say it. But at any rate, maybe even he's doing some things. But maybe Grant Cardone, if you just bought one of his books, you could say that he helped you. But you're not having to give him monthly money or give him money to invest in real estate for you. Yeah. Anyway, you get the point. You understand what I'm saying, that it can be a negative to take part in these things. So, but I would love nothing more than to hear some sort of success story from someone that watched one of my videos and then set a path, and then 20 years later reach out and say, Derek, I've watched a few of your videos when I was younger, and you just helped me to understand that, there's no sense in feeling bad because you have what's called or considered a typical job. And having that typical job does not keep you from getting wealthy and comfortable financially. You can do it. If you just invested $10,000 a year for 30 years, you'd be an automatic millionaire. That money is going to compound over time, and by the time you are 30 years later, you're a millionaire. Now, $1 million, it will be $1 million, but it won't buy you $1 million worth of today's stuff in a million years. But you'll end up with more. You start doing things like that, like saving money, investing early, investing in yourself, investing in your business, in your ability to promote yourself further in your company. Maybe you don't want to own your own business, but maybe you just want to climb the ladder in a company. You've got to do things, get there early, leave late, leave later, do the right thing, serve, have a good attitude, be available, don't call in sick. Those types of things, it just make a world of difference. Our behavior matters at work. And unfortunately, there's just not any other way. Think about all the jobs that have to be done in our world. I mean, there are just so many jobs that have to be done. Somebody has to do them. And all of these jobs should lead to somewhere good. Now, again, like jobs like fast food, those are always going to be, stepping stones. Are they necessary? Sometimes, yes. Maybe you are truly at the bottom. That may be where you have to start. But you go start, take whatever job they will give. Maybe you have to wash the dishes. Maybe you have to clean the floors or clean the toilets. But then you're happy and you're nice and you're kind and you're dependable. And then you just beg and you talk to the managers and say, I want to work the floor. Then you go to the grill. Then you become the assistant manager. Then they give you your own store. And now you go to a steakhouse, or now you go manage something else. Once you've managed a fast food restaurant, you could go manage something else. Or maybe you open your own restaurant. Who knows? I mean, it's just, guys that do road repair. I mean, I see them all the time because you're seeing road construction all the time. Those jobs, heavy machinery, concrete work, pavement. Those machines are just unbelievable amount of money. But again, you get a job like that, they pay really well. It's hard work, but it pays well. You get more time off on those jobs because it's weather contingent. So like if it's pouring down rain, you can't pour concrete. If it's pouring down rain, you can't lay asphalt. It's just interesting. Anyway, I appreciate your time listening. I hope you found some helpful information, and I will see you on the next one. Good night.